we are going to talk about creating layer masks and how to utilize the quick selection tool in Magic Wand. So I have a couple items in here. The first thing I want to do is resize my school to be larger. Command T is the size for that. Okay. From there, I want to create a layer mask that dissolves this sky into there. You could dissolve two pictures into each other. You just need a layer mask for each one. To create a layer mask, you select your layer, and then you go down to the bottom. Again, if you don't see this layer menu, just go to Window and select the word Layers. And you locate the square with the circle, and it says Add Layer Mask, and you select that. Now you go over to your Gradient tool, and you change the setting of your Gradient tool from dark to transparent. And you know it's transparent as it's dots on the page representing the background. And now thinking about your picture not being the whole size, so this layer is just representing that picture, as you draw into it, it naturally dissolves. And you'll be able to dissolve the two together. I find it's very helpful if you start way out and kind of dissolve inwards. So you might need to end up moving a couple of things, but you can start this from the bottom as well. You don't have to have it just from one direction, so you can kind of play into it as much as you'd like and start slowly blending it together so it's not as contrasting. So that's one way to start kind of dissolving your picture, especially if you want it to have a more creative kind of vibe to it. Again, it's your design, so whatever you'd like to do is up to you, but that's a good way to start blending pictures together. If you find that the picture behind you need to move, you can select that layer and change kind of the placement of stuff so it looks more realistic. Same deal if you find it creates this harsh line at the bottom, which I'm seeing. I would go to that layer and select a layer mask on that layer as well. And same deal, grab my gradient tool, and instead as opposed to going down, I'm actually going to draw it up into that line so it doesn't become such a sharp line of where the image ends. Again, you can see it there where the image is lighter, and then it looks more natural in dissolving into each other. So that's one way to kind of make your pictures dissolve together. We haven't really talked about the quick selection Magic Wand this year, so I just wanted to bring that into play as well. Magic Wand is color selector, and it has a sensitivity. It's located under the quick selection. As you can see here, it has a tolerance of 32. If your color hues are close together, you can increase this tolerance to a lower number, decrease it, and it will work better. So if you're finding it's not selecting because you have white to gray, just change your tolerance if it's eating into your picture. Here I'm not seeing it eat into the picture, so I've selected the blue, and I can just delete the blue. Command D deselects my marching ants, and I can go back in and I can resize. I can warp as we did a few years back. That whole menu under here is yours. I find warp the most helpful. If you're like, wait, how did she get to that? I will show you. Command T is your transform menu. Always hold shift when you resize. But if you control click when Command T is on, right click, control click, you have this awesome box. Perspective is like opening and closing a door. That's the only way I can say it. Open, close the door. And then warp, let's go back to the original there. Warp gives you a grid, and you can customize the warp if you want it to be even more customizable, but you're able to kind of pinch points to change your design as you wish. So if you want to make him look like he's flying higher up, you're welcome to kind of create that illusion, right? So we can change his direction of his fly pattern. So those are easy ways to blend your pictures together. Same deal, I'm going to always save my graphic as new element. So this is kind of the background. And then I'm going to open this file in my InDesign file. Otherwise, Command D, otherwise the resolution is just going to be too much RAM to keep layering and layering stuff on. Okay, so you're able to bring those pieces in and start kind of creating your world in InDesign with you and your partner, how those come together. Okay, so that's a quick way to use layer masks. Again, it's that little tool right here at the bottom of layers with the gradient marked black to negative. It's the last one in your options there. Good luck.